It's really funny to me how some black people who have two parents of different nationalities will try to act biracial because they'd be like, yeah, I'm mixed, I'm half African American, half Jamaican. Like, okay, so you're half Nig, half girl, okay, purr.
About a month ago, I saw this poll that was posted on YouTube, and I thought it was like super random. And at first, I wasn't even gonna give commentary about it. I just kind of saw it, thought it was strange, and kept like moving. But as I analyzed the situation a little bit more, I started to notice that it kind of connected to this discussion about multi-ethnic or multicultural identities as it relates to blackness and mixedness. And so I wanted to give some commentary on not only the question that was posed and the standpoint that the poster was coming from, but also some of the responses from people in regards to how they reacted to this discussion. So let's get into it. But before I get into that, I kind of want to analyze the outcome of the poll itself. And so the question that was asked in the poll was, do you consider Beyonce black? Very random, but anyway. Anyway, and so 80% of people responded yes, they do see Beyonce as black. And then about roughly 20% said that they don't consider her black or would consider her other. So, and this was out of 883 votes. So I think that this was a good ratio of like a good little sample size of of people's perception of light skinned black people or people who black people have a mixed heritage. I would just consider Beyonce a light skinned black person. In my opinion, I consider myself that. So, for the sake of this video, that's what I'm gonna call Beyonce. But we all know most people in this country who are light skinned, they usually have a mixed heritage. And I shouldn't have to go into this, but of course, people have a one track mind and they can't practice nuance within discussion. So, yes, Beyonce's a light skinned black person of a mixed heritage. That's going to be addressed in this video. Anyway, moving on. And I'd also just like to cry a few light skinned tears about like how I don't even want to cry light skinned tears. I just want to point out how I keep making videos about certain black women on YouTube that claim to be BWE or pro black American women, which is what I find very interesting. And this is not the first post I've covered like this, but like they're supposed to be for black women, but at the same time, they like here and there, they'll go out their way to make these like unsolicited posts about black women who just so happen to be light skinned to make these posts about us and start these witch hunts about our heritage. And I just don't understand what the purpose of this is. Like, even when they do it to biracial women, or they'll just throw up some post about a biracial woman up there randomly and they're like, yeah, look at what she did. Even when they do that, it's like, I get it. This is supposed to be a quote unquote monoracial black women space. I get that. And this is not to talk about mixed people's issues. I respect that and I get that. But sometimes it just seems so unnecessary a lot of the times. And it just like, it just like sometimes it's just weird. And it's just like, what does this have to do with empowering black women? This is just randomly talking about some light skin or mixed women. Like, I don't understand, how is this empowering? And it's not cool when they're doing it to mixed women who are, biracial or something. It's not cool when they're doing it. But when you promote yourself as being for black women, but then you're making like weird posts about light skinned women like, Beyonce and Rihanna. And like, I'm on my way to getting to showing this screenshot, but ultimately this whole discussion that this person poses comes out to be about them feeling like black women basically defend light-skinned women more than they defend brown-skinned and dark-skinned women, because basically she ends up trying to triangulate Beyonce against Angela Bassett. Very weird, very strange. I don't even know. But anyway, their whole point was basically trying to say that black women defend light-skinned women more. And it's just like, it just feels like she just wanted an excuse to bring up Beyonce, because the situation literally had nothing to do with Beyonce. Much like that situation that I covered that Chrissy was talking about had literally nothing to do with Nicki Minaj, but she made the situation about Nicki Minaj in order to analyze Nicki Minaj's heritage and tell black women to not support her. And how is that any different than what this chick is doing in her little thread. Like, you know, I haven't showed y'all the screenshots of that yet, but it's like, how is that any different? It's like, what I notice is that they're always trying to get other black women to not support light-skinned women. That's always what it's about. And so what they try to do is they try to bring up our heritage to other us. And that's why I also don't agree with a lot of their takes about biracial people, because a lot of the time they're just saying it, trying to make black people feel some type of way about biracial people. Like, it's really not even much real reason they're even talking about biracial people or bringing them up. They're not talking about it because they care or they're really concerned about the living conditions of these kids. They're talking about it to be salacious and because it's a hot button topic and because anything about light skin or mixed people gets attention and views. That's why they're talking about it. Even this chick, like, they make these unsolicited posts because they get attention from people and they get traction. So it's like they're not doing it because they care or because, you know, even for their own personal gain. They're just like doing it to be catty and to try to get other people to feel some type of way about you. And it's just honestly just corny, because it's like, if these women don't deserve to be supported or they're being over supported, or light-skinned women are just basic and we get everything easy, then that should reflect without people having to make, you know, weird posts and having to like say, oh look, she's Creole, and oh look, her mother is Dominican, you know, like you shouldn't have to be doing all that if you just don't want other people to support us. So it's just very strange. I just don't understand what the point of this is. And it's like, I didn't come to YouTube to talk about being light-skinned or being mixed, but I literally started talking about this because I will see shit like this, and I'm like, okay, we're black women too. Just because we're light-skinned and we're mixed, we cannot control that. Like, we did not ask for that, so that's not fair, and we're still black women. So don't say that you care or that you're BWE about all black women, but then you making just posts for no reason like this, trying to ostracize other light-skinned black women when this woman did not do nothing. It would be different if Beyonce had come out and said something colorist or ignorant, or, you know, has said something questionable. It would be different, but you just saying this for no reason. So just say, oh, I'm only here to support brown skin and dark skinned women. And honestly, if you look through this woman's page, it seems that way, and that's fine, but that's just how it seems. Like, because we're actually black women in this hemisphere too, and we have the same very similar experiences. So I just don't understand what the point of this is. Like, just very corny. Just like that dude sitting up here saying, oh, well, you're not mixed, you're an egg and girl. Like, these people are just mad insecure, mad corny. Like, I just don't understand what the point of any of this is. And these just unsolicited conversations about mixed black people is just so goofy, and we do not care. Like, I just don't understand what the point of any of these takes are. And that's what I find very interesting about when it comes to these conversations about, you know, light-skinned women. Like, if you're multicultural, or if your parents come from a place where they speak Spanish, or, you know, or both of your parents are light-skinned, there's all these stipulations all of a sudden about if you can be black, when any other time it was never a question, or never, like, even a conversation, or you were even, you know, talking negatively about for wanting to identify more with being mixed, or maybe more with your nationality than being black. So now that it's so many light-skinned black women that are loud and proud, now it's like, oh, well, they just black when it's beneficial, and do you consider Beyonce black? Like, like, you know what I mean? And then they're making posts talking about, mixed Caribbean women like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, they're just using black women. So I wanted to give some commentary on some of the responses that were under this post. And so I really liked the original comment that was left by Brianna Ban XX. I really thought that was a good response to what she said. And so I want to react to this response to her comment. So this person who has the blue R as a profile picture says, She's biracial. Her mom is Creole and black dad. The reason she's known the black side so much is all she grew up around and wasn't close to her mother's Creole roots. And so Brianna responds back and says, Beyonce is not biracial. Her mom is black and so is her dad. I'm not quite sure if you all have studied any history, but there are people who are culturally black, but we also have to take in account the French and Spanish being in the South. What was the purpose of your comment, ma'am? Laughing face. Exactly. That take was just dumb. And then this person responds back and says, her mom is not black. The lady is Creole from Louisiana. And I've mentioned in other videos how people keep trying to say that Miss Tina is not black and she's, white or whatever. I don't know what they're trying to say. I guess that they're trying to say she's mixed and Beyonce's black or whatever. I don't know. You could make an argument that Miss Tina's mixed. I agree. I actually would identify her as mixed as well. So I don't disagree with that. But where I feel like people are just being obtuse is because stop trying to act like I find it very annoying that all of a sudden being a light-skinned black person does not exist. And now all of a sudden we have to sit here and make a thousand and billion two disclaimers and run down a whole laundry list of ethnicities and races that we're mixed with, and instead of just being like what we've always been and know to be what we are. It's just very annoying to me. And so this person coming up talking about, oh, she's biracial, even if you don't consider Miss Tina to be black, that's fine. She still would not be considered biracial. You clearly don't know what biracial is. And this is something that's really starting to annoy the fuck out of me now too, is that they're starting to call people who have a mixed parent and a black parent biracial. And that's just literally not what biracial is. It's like these people do not know the meaning of words. They don't know what different types of mixed people are. They don't know what to call us. They be loud and wrong, but running around trying to be an authority on blackness, mixedness, and trying to control and tell people who we are. And that's what's fucking annoying. And these people never have profile pictures. They're never known people. They're always these little troll accounts, always in people's business. And it's and they be loud and wrong, and that's what's annoying. I do not first of all, biracial literally means of two races. Look it up in the dictionary. Go learn the definition of words. Bi means of two. Bisexual, bicultural, of two. The fuck? That's what bi always means. And that's what I'm saying. These people cannot be from this country, because people in America know that we call people who are who have a white parent and a black parent, or a white parent and an Asian parent. We call those people biracial because they are of two races. They are a whole person of two races. Okay, and from biracial people's children are mixed. This is just my interpretation as being the product of black people and biracial people getting together. Because my parents actually both have a mixed parent and a black parent. Not a directly biracial parent, but they have parents that look like Miss Tina. They're basically like Beyonce. But yeah, my parents are Beyonce. Yeah, my paternal grandmother and my maternal great-grandmother on my grandfather's side both look like that. My grandfather, he looks, I can't describe it, he doesn't look like Miss Tina, but he looks heavily admixed. People usually think he's Puerto Rican or something, but he's brown skin. So, and he has long, very slick, straight hair. So both of my parents have a visibly, obviously mixed parent and then a brown skinned black parent. So that's what I grew up seeing when I go see my grandparents, and both of my parents are brown skinned. So I look like Beyonce. I don't look like Beyonce clearly, obviously. I'm not trying to my horn. I'm just saying I have that aesthetic. You know what I mean? And before, I'm Caribbean though. I've mentioned that before if you watch my other videos. But so before we would just be seen as light-skinned black people, and I don't really have a problem with that, but I did have an issue with being gaslit out of, claiming my Caribbean heritage and things like that, or saying that, I am mixed. People would have a problem with that in the past. But to now that it went to this whole extreme to where now they're saying she's biracial is just ridiculous. And it's there's nothing wrong with being biracial or being mixed or anything like that. I don't have a problem with that, but it's just that's just not what we are. And so it's when you go for so long being gaslit, not being able to fully claim who you are, and then you got motherfuckers hiding behind troll accounts talking about you're biracial when they're actual biracial people, and that's disrespectful to their experience, because biracial people go through a whole set of things that light-skinned black people just don't have to go through, and there's things that light-skinned black people go through that biracial people don't go through. And to respect both types of mixed people, then just don't lump us together. You can call us both mixed. I think that we all have a consensus of being called mixed because we all mixed with African. But to try to use biracial interchangeably with mixed or light skin when we already have terms for these different types of people is just really annoying. And for people to act like we don't is annoying also because we do. Like, it's just annoying. I will consider Beyonce to be mixed. Her mother is mixed. Her father, I would consider her father to be monoracial. So I might even be more mixed than Beyonce because my grandparents that are black, they're like brown skin with like type 4A hair. So they kind of like, they have a little admixture too. So who knows what the fuck I am. But Beyonce's father, so Beyonce's father is probably like highly African, but this person is still sitting up here trying to say, oh, she's biracial, when Beyonce's probably like 75% African. And like, again, but that's just not what Beyonce is. But she is mixed. But watch, these same people, I bet you 10 years ago, the same person would if Beyonce was to come into a room and say, oh, I'm a light-skinned mixed woman, they say, oh, you're brown skin and you just black, you people, you light-skinned black people always trying to say y'all not black, you not even light-skinned, you not even that light-skinned, blah, 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 blah. These same motherfuckers is the same people. And that's why me and Brianna is just laughing at our responses, because what the fuck are you talking about? Like, she's culturally black and culturally Creole too, because that's a culture and that's a mixed culture. And she's absolutely right that most of us in the Americas, no matter if you're in a Latin descent or a British descent country or island, our cultures are a mixture. It just is what it is. That's why I'm like, these people cannot be from here with the mindset that they have. Because most of us, even if you're, you only have admixture or you're predominantly African, you're like 85 or 90% African, we still share a culture with the white European people who are here and the indigenous people that are here, because the culture is mixed in. Especially if you're Creole from Louisiana. And I don't know that much about that place, but I know it's very mixed. And I know you can be white, Creole, or Cajun. You can be a dark skin, predominantly African Creole person. It's also Gullah Geechee people. Like, it's all different types of ethnic groups of Black Americans, and also of different places in Latin America and the Caribbean. Like, it's all different types of Black people groups and different mixed cultures of people mixing in and mixed groups. Like, even one of my brothers is named after one of the mixed groups that were in the Caribbean and Latin America, particularly in Jamaica and Mexico. If you're from those places, you might know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna put my brother on the spot, but it's like, it's all these different cultures that are mixed that people just don't know about, and it's very common in America. So I'm like, these people cannot be from here, so what are you talking about? So regardless, yes, Beyonce is a Black woman, but she's also mixed because she comes from a mixed culture and she has a mixture in her. Clearly enough of it. Like, look at her, she clearly looks mixed enough to the fact you're calling her biracial. But I bet 10 years ago y'all would gaslight this woman too if she was to embrace her mixed heritage. And that is the dilemma of the light-skinned Black girl in America. It's just ridiculous. Like,
there's a story behind my skin. It's a mosaic of all the faces before it. My only makeup, true men.
so basically, in a nutshell, like I said, this person is basically triggered because Beyonce made a song about being proud to be Creole, and because she won't deny her indigenous and French heritage. That's basically what this is. And because they feel some type of way that I guess they feel like Beyonce gets more support to Angela Bassett did during the whole Angela Bassett situation. And so basically they just use this as a situation to try to compare Beyonce to other black women. That's basically what this was. But them also having a problem with her, you know, being proud of being of her Creole roots. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, people wonder why light-skinned black people don't want to, we don't want to be more embracive towards our mixed heritage. And it's just like, because when you are, then it's weaponized as a way to ostracize and other you, and you're held up as being problematic and taking things out of other black women's hands simply for just existing. And then you got weirdos like this, making posts about it, commenting about it 15 years later after this commercial came out. Just like you could get in a Twitter back and forth with somebody, and then all of a sudden there's somebody firing up a live stream saying this is why you can't support these mixed Caribbean women. It's just very strange. So it's like these people are just sitting around looking for opportunities for, to pull something up to try to say, look, this is why, we shouldn't be abrasive of them, or shouldn't, I don't know. I don't even know what the point of this is. And this is often what these characters will do. They will randomly bring up your culture, randomly bring up your heritage, randomly bring up that you're light skinned, that you have a light skinned parent, or whatever it is. Randomly bring it up. Then when either you respond to it or other people respond to it, whether it's positive or negative, most of the time if people are just like, what is the point of this? Or just, feeling like it's mad random and just unnecessary, which most women in the comments did. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm proud of how on cold black women were in this situation, because I'm not sure what part of BWE this is supposed to be, because literally, like, Beyonce had nothing to do with this. Like, she shouldn't even be talked about. She gets enough tension as it is. It was like, why even take away from Angela Bassett's moment by bringing up Beyonce? It's just weird. But yeah, so then they randomly bring you up in a situation and try to act like they're the victim, and like they're over here being a defender of black women, by randomly bringing up a light skin or mixed woman. And it's just very strange. It's like, how is ostracizing or making an example out of a light skin or mixed woman automatically positive for dark skin and brown skin women? Like, first of all, we're black women too, so that's just stupid. Like, you basically using a little high school tactic to get clicks and views. Like, trying to act like a victim, or like you're making some type of point for brown skin and dark skin women, when you know for a fact that she literally knows that she posted this because she know how black women would react to it, because Beyonce is not only a favorite of black women, but a favorite of literally everybody in the world. So she knew exactly how black women would react, because we are proud of our girl Beyonce, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. Like, just like we are proud of Viola Davis and Angela Bassett and all these other beautiful black women that are different skin tones and heritages. Like, why gotta be competition? And these are the type and then this person sitting up here talking about unbiased. You sound very biased. You like very biased. And then you trying to yank all brown skin and dark skin women into this, and other black American women, which I'm not even convinced that this is the black American women. But whenever they're trying to do that, that's always a red flag to me. And I liked how the pushback in the comments, because people were like, the fuck, nobody was even asking about this or talking about this, but all of a sudden you a crusader for black women, but just trying to hop on other black women because we a little bit more mixed than somebody else. Like, it's just silly. And imagine if a light-skinned black woman had made a post like this about a brown skin and dark skin woman, how many live streams would have been fired up about her? All of Twitter would have been dragging her. And if I would have found it corny too, if a light skinned woman had done the same thing, I would have found it corny too. And I love this comment right here that was in response to this post. And this person says, the thing is, you're equating Creole to whiteness. Creole is not a race. Black people can be Creole. I'm technically Creole with my 91% black behind and 34% Nigerian ancestry. The meaning of terms are necessary before making these arguments. The issue is y'all take away blackness from people that you think don't deserve it because they benefit from colorism. That's not the fight to be fighting. And I really love this comment because she literally summarized my whole reasoning for making these types of videos in a few sentences better than I could in all of my videos. And I really appreciate it. And I really want to restate this last part that she said. She said, the issue is y'all take away blackness from people that you don't think deserve it because they benefit from colorism. That's not the fight to be fighting. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't think most sane-minded, I definitely do not believe that the majority of well-adjusted, healthy-minded, self-aware, self-confident, light-skinned, and mixed people within the African diaspora still in 2023 have an issue with acknowledging that some of us do benefit from colorism. And I'm saying some because not all mixed people are light skinned. But anyway, I do not think that this is even a discussion anymore. I don't think that there's really anybody now that's relevant or that opinion actually matters that is still trying to make that argument. Definitely not Beyonce, and we know that through her action, through her advocacy, and through what she's shown and what she's presented to be her values to be. And the fact that that still can't be acknowledged or taken into account by people like, very biased and bothered here that made this post. The fact that people like that still refuse to acknowledge that is very telling. And I'm not saying that, we need Scooby snacks or, need a thank you or anything like that. But the fact that people are still making those think pieces, especially about people like Beyonce and Zendaya and all these people who go out of their way to acknowledge that they benefit from colorism and do, whatever they feel like they need to do to account for that. That's still not enough for these people, and they're still making negative comments and, always trying to invalidate your identity and experiences. So I think that that's really interesting. And I definitely agree, like I said again, with what this person is saying. They're trying to take away blackness from people they feel like don't deserve it because they haven't struggled enough. Or people, specifically women, because notice they'll never make a post like this about a light-skinned or mixed man, but I won't even get into that. But women, light-skinned women and mixed women that they feel like are undeserving because they feel like they haven't struggled enough or have had privileges, or have had it easier. People like that, they do try to take away blackness because they feel like light-skinned and mixed women are undeserving, but that's because they equate blackness with struggle and suffering. And honestly, that's your own problem, because if you equate blackness with struggle and suffering, that's its own set of issues that's going to create resentment and insecurity. And perhaps that is where these feelings are coming from, and not light-skinned and mixed people being proud to be people of African descent. And I'm not saying that to be like catty or shady, but I noticed that being a theme. I want to point out the guy that in the TikTok that I showed in the beginning of this video, where he said, oh, multi-ethnic black people, they try to act biracial, you're really just nig and gur. And think about how derogatory that is, to basically say, oh, stop trying to think you're all that because you're proud of your culture. You're still an N-word. You're still just a blackie. You're still just something derogatory. And it's like, I feel really sad for people who equate blackness with struggle, with just being an N-word. People like that, they always seem insecure. They never seem happy. They pretend to have black pride. They pretend to be proud to be black men and black women, but they're really not. And you can see that by how they interact with light-skinned and mixed people. See, this is the thing. These same type of people will be quick to hop into bed with a non-black person to make one of us, but then they have issues and resentment towards the product of that because of their own feelings about their own blackness. And so that's why I really love that I would consider the Creole woman that left this comment to be monoracial, because in my opinion, if you're about 80% African, 80% non something else, I would consider you to be monoracial. I really love that she made this comment because it's easy to dismiss when a light skinned or biracial person says that. But I really love that she can even see that and understand that. And I'm gonna just be honest with you, that's kind of the point of this whole video. People of all races, whether they be monoracially black, white, Asian, whatever, people who grow up in multicultural environments and in multicultural households, multicultural cities, and have different friends of different races, different family members, different skin tones and cultures and all this type of stuff, we just our mentality just tends to be just very different, and we tend to just be a lot more open-minded, and we don't have hang-ups about stuff in the way other people do. And that's not saying that to be shady or saying that we're better or worse, because there's a lot of struggles and challenges that come with that as well. So I'm not over romanticizing that at all, but I'm just saying I notice our mentality about stuff is very different, and it's not a skin tone thing, it's not a mixed or non-mixed thing, it's not a culture thing, it's a what you've been exposed to, what your life experiences are thing. And I just see that. And so coming to YouTube, I've definitely seen that even more. I'm just like, yo, y'all really need to go pick up a passport, go read a book, go touch some grass, come to New York, something. Because it's a huge deficit in understanding about other people in the world outside of the American black and white context. And that goes for all races, like immigrant, native to America or not. I'm just seeing that. And, you know, it is what it is. Especially Latin and Caribbean people, we heavily identify with our nationality no matter what our race is, as when America is more so about your race. And I feel like that is where the toxicity comes in, because they try to reduce black Americans down to just being a black American and what that status means, as opposed to being proud of being just an American in general. First they say, oh, this is the best country on earth, blah blah blah, but then they want black Americans to feel bad about being black American. It's really weird. And then you have a lot of black Americans that internalize that, and that's how they view themselves in the same way, and they view themselves through the same lens. So when they see mixed people, or they see multi-ethnic black people that are proud to not only be African American but to be Caribbean as well, or to be half white and half African American, and we're standing in our truth and we're proud to be who we are, that triggers them. Because they only want to see blackness in relation to struggle, and they feel as though, well, if you're associating yourself with this other culture, well, you're just trying to get out of being viewed with struggle. And it's like, no, that's how you view blackness. Okay, that's your thing. That's why you sit up here calling me and yourself a hard ER. The fuck? Like, I'm not the problem because I understand that I have more than one thing in me, or because I love both of my cultures equally, loving my black American side and my Caribbean Latin side. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Like, so I just want to start this off by saying I'm not too familiar with the whole situation that happened with Angela Bassett. Honestly, I don't really keep up with like mainstream like stuff that's going on that much. I kind of stay in my own bubble, but I actually did watch the beginning of the Oscars, and of course Queen Angela Bassett looked stunning and gorgeous and beautiful, especially in this purple dress. I just had to start by saying that because I just love this look on her. Like, she was serving all night, all of her looks as per usual, beautiful. Anyway, so I really hate that Beyonce being Creole had to be brought into the situation, because it had literally no correlation. And it's like, I really wish Biased and Bothered had just posted this if that was their point, instead of, being like, oh, well, yeah, Black American women support and uplift everyone in our image except us. We are the dysfunction in the community. What? What? Like, first of all, I'm a little familiar with Sky News because they always like pop up on my suggestions because I watch a lot of international news. But Sky News is literally a conservative news site. It's basically the Australian equivalent to Fox, and they're literally always dragging people of color, always gaslighting us about everything. So I'm not surprised that they came for Angela. I'm definitely not surprised that basic Becky came for Angela either, because this is just what they do. So it's like, I'm not saying that it's not a horrible thing, but it's like, where's the outrage here? This is just typical of them. Who cares what some, shaved potato looking face, Becky is talking about on her TikTok? Like, nobody knows her. Nobody cares about Sky News. I'm in America. I'm not in Australia. I don't really give a fuck about what any of these white people are saying. Like, but that's just me. But like, I do agree. Like, I understand what she's saying. Like, we Black people should defend, Angela Bassett if people are slandering her. But I just feel like this is what I'm talking about. Like, don't try to. You just brought something up because you wanted to talk about it, not because you were trying to talk about a larger issue. And I feel like a lot of these people do that. You just want to talk about this topic, but they try to mask it behind other stuff. Like, and that's another thing that I noticed that these characters tend to do. They tend to do a lot of guilt tripping Black women by saying things like, oh yeah, we're the dysfunction in the community, or yeah, you're the reason why you're being erased because you're claiming XYZ. It's just like, it's a lot of shaming, guilt tripping tactics towards Black women. And so I'm glad that Black women were not falling for her in this instance. And we're just like, well, like, very unnecessary, because that's exactly what it is. Just very unnecessary. And Black women do enable a lot of dysfunction in the Black community, and Black women in our own right can be very dysfunctional. I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, first of all, Black women are the reason why a lot of Blackness is still uplifted in today's society. In the media, a lot of Black women, producers and directors and things like that of all skin tones uplift and give opportunities to Black people. So, like, what was even the point of this? Like, there's literally there's literally women who are half white that uplift all types of Blackness in the media. They don't have to do that. Like, they should, because they're part of our community. But it's like, so to be like, oh, well, Black women are the dysfunction in the community. Yeah, and there's a lot of Black women that try to make up for that too. But of course, these people are not going to point that out because they're trying to use guilt tripping tactics to make you feel bad about stuff. Like, it's really ridiculous. Like, I wish that they didn't have to take it all the way around the mulberry bush to make this point about Angela Bassett. It's like, it's like she wanted to knock out all of her beef with all, light skin and white people in one day. Like, in one situation, it's like, dang, what do we have to do with this? Like, it seems like this is white people attacking a Black woman. So what did Beyonce have to do with this? What did a light skinned Black woman have to do with this? Confused when it's like a white woman, the one that's being disrespectful to a legend, Angela Bassett, but you over here trying to start with other Black women. It just literally makes no sense. And so before I move on to the next and last part of this video, I want to go over this last comment that I really liked in regard to this situation involving Beyonce being mixed or Black in her ethnic background. And so I want to read this comment from Alter Ego Perspective Bronx Girl. Figure we're on the same wavelength. She's an Uptown girl as well. So it makes sense that we see eye to eye. But anyway, so she says, all Black women are not weak. We don't have to protest words that have no effect. The fact that you compared Angela Bassett and Beyonce is a problem in itself. People have been shredding Beyonce since she was a child. And I completely agree. Like I've already stated, who cares about what these random white people in their little corner of a flyover state somewhere or over in Australia are saying? Nobody cares. Shoo, go away. No one cares about your opinion. It's irrelevant. And I also agree about the whole comparison Angela Bassett to itself being a problem. Angela Bassett to Beyonce. I agree that that's a problem. Like, why are we always comparing black women to each other, or comparing black women to white women, or all like what's all the comparison about? Like, y'all know I cannot stand the whole comparison thing, and I feel like that's a really bad habit black women need to get out of. Like, stop comparing yourself to other groups of people, other women, other black women. It's really not healthy. Like, it's really not. And I think we should stop comparing and contrasting black women's experiences and, things that happen to them and the way they go about the world, and stop, kind of triangulating ourselves against each other by way of, making comparisons when other people face hardships or challenges or something, especially when it's not even necessary. Because, like she said, people have been criticizing Beyonce since she was a little girl, and she gets criticized constantly. Like, even though Beyonce is greatly and internationally loved, and people love Beyonce, and some people go hard for her, there are also a lot of people who criticize the hell out of her, constantly hate on her for no reason. Just say very nasty, hideous things about her and her family and her children. So we're not going to pretend like that's not a thing either. And what's so interesting about that is that somebody literally brought that up. I think that maybe in 2 posts ago. I don't remember. Some of these screenshots I showed, somebody literally mentioned that Beyonce only tried to claim black when people started to come for Blue Ivy's black features. Like, y'all are so corny. That is such a damn lie. Like, that is literally a damn lie. And the fact that they really think that we sit around and calculate, oh, I'm gonna be mixed today, I'm gonna be black tomorrow, I'm gonna be da-da-da-da, based on something that, based on their perception, or what something that they think that we can gain by doing that, because you really can't, but whatever. It's just ridiculous. Like, and I feel like that was just so insensitive. And I would also ask those people, okay, and where was all this privilege that y'all claim that light-skinned mixed people have, when Blue Ivy was not only getting attacked by other black women, but by white women and black males as well? Where were y'all? And where was all that light skin and mixed privilege that y'all claim that in protection? Because didn't somebody in that comments also say that mixed women and light skinned women, we have all this protection and we're coddled by the whole world and everybody defends us? Where? Fucking where? Like, dusty tie roaches that are colorists that seek to impregnate and leave us single mothers or triangulate us against other black women does not count as protection, coddling, and defense. So I just asked, riddle me this. Like, where was Blue Ivy's light skin privilege and coddling and protecting as from all these different groups, including other black women, as a little light skinned black girl? And you sitting up in a black woman's comment section kikiing about it, but y'all talking about protection and folks being coddled, though. Very interesting. Because do you really think they'd be able to sit up in a comment section kikiing about a little white celebrity's kid and nobody would say nothing? Or do you think that it would be looked at as distasteful because it's a little white child? Yeah, it would. So I just think that is very interesting. Like, literally, you have whole post of comments of people coming out the woodwork, voicing their issues with Beyonce's identity or whatever they talking about, unprovoked, coming out the clear blue sky, having this discussion. But people want to be like, oh yeah, she's coddled and protected. Like, what? Like, what? It's very. That's why I be trying to say, like, black women, no matter what skin tone you are, you could be brown skin or light skin, you could be biracial, it really don't matter. You could say the smallest thing, and if one of these people get triggered, they're gonna fire up a post about you and have a whole bunch of people sitting up and kikiing about you, all while simultaneously being like, oh, they get too much protection and support. Like, what? If you feel like they're so supportive, why did you feel so comfortable as to make whole discussions about it then. Like, why are there videos after videos, post after post, constantly all the time, and all types of TikToks and jokes of people making fun of light-skinned and mixed women, but yet we're so coddled and protected and nobody can say nothing about us or we melt. Like, it's just very interesting. Like, people are awful, comfortable to say whatever about us or even our children, little kids. Like, but at the same time, they say, "Oh, you're so, coddled and protected," and it's just very strange. And I'm not even trying to say that we're getting it worse than anybody else in the Black community, because I feel like that's just the nature of the Black community. I've mentioned this multiple times, but I just think that it's very interesting. Like, if they genuinely felt like we so supported and protected all the time, then it's very interesting that people feel so comfortable to ask these questions. Because, like I said, if a light-skinned woman has started this same line of questioning about any other Black woman that was not light-skinned or mixed, people would have like called her a colorist, or they just would have come at her. It wouldn't have been taken kindly, and this wasn't either, but I'm just saying, like, people wouldn't have just excused that, and a light-skinned woman wouldn't do that anyway, but I'm just saying, and a light-skinned woman wouldn't do that because she knows how that would be received. Like, it's a lot of things light-skinned people don't say or do because they know how that would be received. But I don't think that brown skin and dark skin Black people are aware that they don't do that because they know how it will be received. But in their perception, they're like, oh, you're getting all this support, and people just always, defend you and things like that. And I think it depends on the situation. Privileged people don't let slander and stereotypes and misinformation about history be perpetuated and gone on for years on social media and in media. Groups of people that are privileged don't allow that to happen for years and years and years, and all of a sudden start making videos about it. And then all of a sudden, oh, well, they're privileged and protected. Like, it doesn't work like that. Privilege is how Sky News Atlanta and this shaved potato head looking white girl want to sit up and feel like they can just sit up and, be disrespectful to accomplished Black women and talk down to us and talk to us like children in ways that they would not do to a white woman that was of Angela Bassett's stature. You have this young white woman here talking down to Angela Bassett. I'm assuming, I don't know, I didn't see the post, but I guess she called her a petulant child, or maybe she was just being disrespectful. I don't know. But she feels that comfortable to be disrespectful because she has privilege in this society. It's just like, so yeah, I just wanted to point that out as well. It's like you sitting up worried about Beyonce and trying to triangulate and compare Black women's experiences, all while this white girl is sitting off running off at the mouth, not scared about or don't have no respect because she feels as though she probably elevated in society over Angela Bassett. You know how they feel some type of way sometimes when they see Black women getting anything. So she probably was triggered that Angela Bassett was there looking beautiful at all, and that's why she probably was on TikTok being negative towards Angela Bassett. All while this person on YouTube is trying to kick up dust amongst Black women when we have bigger fish to fry. So to wrap this video up, I want to show you guys a few TikToks of two mixed women talking more about navigating multi-ethnic and multiracial identity and some of the pushback and things that they've come across, and how they've responded to that and how they feel about it. And it might not seem that it directly relates to this Beyonce segment, but if you read between the lines and you really think closely, I think that you'll see where I'm going with this video, especially in relation to the hating ass dude in the beginning of the video that associates Blackness with being a hard R. So I think that it's a very interesting discussion to have, and I don't know, you guys in the comment section, let me know what you guys think about it, if you guys can relate, or if you'd like to expand on anything that I mentioned in the video. So enjoy these last few TikToks, and if you have not already, please hit the like button, and thanks for watching. Enjoy.
Every single time I say I'm a Black woman, it seems like it triggers some people. Some people keep telling me that I must say I'm mixed woman, not Black woman, because I'm biracial. Or there are some people who say if you don't have two black parents, you're not black. First, I think it's very obvious, but I know what I am. I know that I'm biracial. I know that I'm both Asian and black. Just because I'm saying I'm a black woman does not mean that I'm not Asian at the same time. I can't believe how many people find it so hard to understand the concept of being both. So this is a question for those of you who believes that you must have two black parents in order for you to claim that you're black. Because to me, he's the first black president of the United States. Oh wait, how about her? I happen to respect her as a black woman, but she publicly says that she has white ancestors. Let me go down the list of most selling black artists. First, Michael Jackson. Do you consider him to be a mixed race artist? Because both of his parents are mixed race. How about the second most selling black artist? Her ancestors are African, Native American, and European as well. She is the third most selling black artist in the history. And he is fourth. And he literally has a white father. I don't know about you, but I think he contributed so much to black history. Let's keep going. Let's move on to civil rights movement. She claimed herself as a black woman her whole life and treated as such. But you're saying that she didn't have the right to do so because she is part white and part Native American as well? In your twisted idea, it means that Malcolm X was not a black man because his grandpa was literally white. The list just goes on, but you are saying that this man who wrote a book about slavery because he was a former slave is not a black man because he has a white parent? Large amount of African Americans are actually mixed race because slave owners took advantage of black women. And yes, there is such thing as white passing and black passing. But it is truly no one's place to measure other people's blackness based on what they look like or where they come from. You get to decide what you are, not anybody else. I'm not undermining anyone's experience, but I have experienced insane amount of racism and discrimination growing up in Japan based on my skin color and based on the fact that I am a black woman. I'm proud to be black, I'm proud to be Asian, I'm proud to be Japanese, Nigerian, Igbo, all of that. I'm proud of everything that I am. Every single time I say I'm a black woman, it seems like it triggers some people.
I actually have a very quick theory on this. People who grow up in homogenous cultures in their internal environment and their external environment have a hard time even understanding or conceptualizing what being both means, in contrast to people who grow up in non-homogenous environments. So if someone grows up in a household where both their parents celebrate one culture or actively express their behaviors, patternings, all that of just one culture, so black mom, black dad, that child will have a hard time understanding what it's like to grow up in an internal home where there's more than one homogenous culture. Someone who has, like, let's say a black mom and a Asian dad, right? That person knows what it's like to grow up in an internal environment where there's two cultures at the same time and how to navigate moving back and forth between them. The other person has never had that experience, so they think yours doesn't exist.